1 o'clock. You're the only one in here right now. I'll wait for a few minutes, see who else is going to join. I know Harlan definitely said he was going to get in with us today. A couple more people. Here's Lisa.
There she is.
There we go, Lisa. Thanks for coming back. You got all in this school, right, Lisa?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Glad we were able to figure that out. It's 1 o'clock now. We got just the two of you all in here. I want to wait for a little bit longer, see who else wants to come through. But did you guys have any questions about anything that we've covered this week by way of hard money, DSCR loans, the broker business, um, anything outside of that as well? We can cover different real estate investing strategies and things like that too, for a little bit, and how they can relate to what we're doing. And then we'll get into the last bit, and then we'll talk more about the broker elite and the broker launch pad. Thanks for coming through, Harlan.
No problem.
No questions, guys? Okay.
Gary, question for you.
Yeah.
When you start getting familiarized with this business model, well, you've been in the game since 2018. Every time there's a deal that comes through, do you first want to see if you want the deal before you pass it on? I think you were a wholesaler, right?
Yeah, so my role when we were doing wholesaling was I would be cold calling and reaching out to the distressed sellers. I would be going out to the houses and getting them under contract. And then when I started going virtual, we had different ways that we were marketing. So we did text blasts and we did the ringless voicemails. And so that would create inbound volume, and then I would answer questions, and then ask questions to qualify for another boots on the ground to go out there and grab the contract. Um, so when I see an opportunity, as far as like with an investor looking at a deal, I look at it from the angle of, all right, well, if I was wholesaling this, would this be a good deal for my cash buyers? One. Next, I do, okay, well, what would my lenders be able to lend on this based off of the other statistics, like their credit, their cash, experience, and things like that. So that's how I look at every deal. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, that's what I was asking. And then the
Okay.
next thing that I wanted to know, you know how you want us to build relationships with the lenders, and you
Yeah.
said Kiava is newbie friendly.
Yes. So Kiavi specifically works with newbie borrowers the best as far as highest leverage. They do have to have good credit though. So 700 plus is a requirement.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Here's Anthony coming through here. Welcome, Anthony. We're gonna hang out a couple more minutes, and then I got a deal that was sent to me through email, and I figured it'd be a good exercise to start with that, and run through. But Anthony, before we get started, did you have any questions about what we've gone over this week, or any questions about hard money, DSCR, the broker business, anything like that? Same thing for you, Lewis. Thanks for coming through today.
Yes, sir.
So, if you just joined, like Anthony and Lewis, the goal for today is we're going to break down a deal that I just got through my inbox here. We're going to run through the remainder of the study guide, common pitfalls and how to avoid them, and then next steps in building a business, which will lead us into talking more about Loan Broker Elite and the Broker Launchpad, which you guys should have gotten an email about last night. But that's the one-on-one coaching that I'm offering, which is the broker Launchpad, and then anyone that is taking advantage of that, I know a couple of people we already talked to that are signed up. They're going to be in the Broker Elite school group where we will host all of the group coaching calls. So let's get into it. I got this deal here that I want to underwrite with you guys. All right, so I met Stacy through TikTok. She reached out, and she is an out-of-state buyer, so she's down in Texas, but she buys all up in the Midwest. She's got some cash that she wants to put to work, so that's really her story. She's looking at a 5-unit property in Racine, Wisconsin, which is a good rental market. So she sent me this from her wholesaler. It's not every day that you get like a pro forma from a wholesaler, but it looks pretty good. So it's actually okay. Reviewing it here, this is a mixed use property. So it's 4 units plus a salon. That means mixed use to me. So comps, let's see what they got here. Let me know if you guys can't see my screen. No 5-unit comps in the area. Okay, so all right. This is rare that someone would send me like a pro forma like this for a DSCR deal, but it's definitely interesting. They're making up this cap rate based off of what they assume cash flow will be. But for a mixed use like this, I would go with one or two of the lenders that we work with. The first one would be with RCN. So if you guys haven't already gotten signed up through their broker channel, then go ahead and do that. But they do have a mixed use bridge program, which will at least allow for her to get into the property, and then we can worry about stabilizing it later. She's got a little bit of experience. She's got one other property. Her credit score is amazing. I think she's 750, 53402. As is value, they're saying they want to move this thing for 320,000. And match that 320,000. No change in property type. Unit count is 5. Gross rent, they said on here. Maybe it was on 3965. Okay. So they're going to bring 35% down towards the purchase price. This would be a bridge loan. This is hard money. So it would be a 12-month loan. I don't believe that RCN has a true 30-year DSCR loan product for mixed use, but this is how we would be able to cater to a mixed use property nationwide. We can offer a bridge loan. The second option that we have is another commercial lender, but I'll have to look at Racine as a geographical area because that lender only will work with markets that have 50,000 people or more. So I guess it is in the suburbs of Milwaukee, so this could run through that. So definitely something worth reviewing. But Velocity Mortgage Capital, which is our commercial lender, they have different requirements than the normal DSCR lenders. All right, great. So that's once you guys build up a referral network and you start working with clients, you're going to want them to respond to you in a specific way so that you can systemize your quotes and sending out preliminary term sheets. What I did just there is something that when you work with the lenders that we are already working with, you'll get access to that calculator. And like I said on other previous days, speed to information oftentimes will allow you to win more business than trying to wait a little bit, even if it's a more accurate. These terms are changing up until a couple of days of closing, so nothing's necessarily set in stone. Once we generate a preliminary term sheet, if we win the business based off of it, we got to make sure that it gets as close to it as possible. That's the goal. All right.
Gary,
What's up, Harlan?
a quick question. So, since she sought you out, does that bode better in the sense of, or is she just shopping kind of thing? Does does
She
it
may
bode?
be shopping. I'm not worried about competition because as you guys will see, once you start to build up the referral network and you put yourself out there on social media like I do, like she came through TikTok. So she engaged with my content. She chose to fill out a couple more forms, book a call with me. There's more of a like she's legitimately asking, "Hey Gary, can you underwrite this for me? I want to see what terms are." She may be shopping into other loans that would be to her benefit, but it's up to me to be able to follow through, close, let her know what we can and can't do. I might offer her only a bridge loan because I know that that's a for sure thing versus the commercial lender. I have some questions about the geography and things like that. It'll take me a little bit longer to get an answer back from my AE, my account executive, to go through that. All right, so let's finish up the study guide here. So here are, well, let's talk about some common pitfalls and how to avoid them. The first thing when with borrowers by way of a red flag is going to be if they answer questions with any sort of vagueness. So a question like, so what's credit look like and where's your cash look and how's your cash? If there is a story that precludes either one of those, we may not be working with the highest quality credit or enough cash to be able to close. So if our goal is to work with folks that are 680 credit score or higher and have around 30% of the total project cost available to them in cash or lines of credit, then that's something that needs to stick in your mind when you're asking for those questions. So hey, Harlan, looks like you got a deal here. Before we jump into real terms or talking about it, I got to understand what credit looks like and how your cash is right now. If there's a story, well, I was working on this, but now, yeah, this opportunity came up, but all of those indicators will we may be working with a little bit less than stellar credit. The worst thing that you can do is do something that I did last week, which is go back and forth with the borrower without getting that item checked off, and then going and getting a soft pull done and it coming back with lower credit than anticipated. And you just quoted it out at a 700 or a 720 and it came back at a 650. Those are going to be vastly different terms, and it's going to not the borrower knew that information before they got on the call with you. Believe it or not, if they're shopping for terms for a loan or if they're shopping for funding on a real estate project, best believe that they have an idea as to what their credit is, and they might be looking to just get the best terms out of you, and without respecting the fact that whatever you say, you're trying to give them a good faith estimate. Other red flags with borrowers and it's not necessarily a red flag so much as it's going to be a red flag on the borrower side to getting the deal closed, is a layered entity. It's not an issue, but it's more paperwork that needs to be sourced. So if you get back an operating agreement where the members of the entity are both other entities, other LLCs, so you can have 123 Main Street is the main LLC, but XYZ LLC, XYZ company is member one, and QRS company is number two, then we're gonna have to do double sourcing for those. So everything by way of paperwork, we're going to have to source all the way up to the origin with regards to operating agreements. And when we worked one-on-one together and in the group coaching calls through Elite, we will do specific weeks on breaking down the templates for operating agreements, going into detail for common mistakes of where borrowers are leaving things off and how to quickly detect that. And pre-process a file so that Kiavi or RCN or VACO or NLF will not have as much back and forth with you, because that's where the time is going to get lost and you're going to miss dates with getting to the ideal outcome of an on-time closing. Not every deal closes on time, but it's our goal to try and get it there. Red flags with lenders. So red flags with lenders, you can tell. So we're going to ask questions up front of lenders that are going to put them in a position to tell you exactly who they are. So just like we're qualifying borrowers, we want to qualify lenders that we entertain. The first question is going to be, are you guys a balance sheet lender or are you securitizing your notes? The difference is that a balance sheet lender has a little bit more control over servicing, has a little bit more control over pricing, and has a little bit more control over draws for the fix and flip side. They can be a little bit quicker because all of the funds are on their books. A balance sheet means that they're lending money that is their own. They're lending it to the project from their own bank account. Securitized is basically a super broker. So we are brokers in that we are finding the deal, we're creating the paperwork that then the super brokers use to sell on Wall Street to hedge funds and large insurance companies that buy these notes. So we want to know who we're dealing with up front. So that's the first question to a lender is, are you a balance sheet lender or do you securitize your notes? The next question that you want to ask them is specifically about their processing timelines. We want to, if they are, a lot of lenders want to lean on speed. Okay, so a lot of lenders want to lean on speed. We want to lean on speed, but speed is only determined by when their underwriter gets to view a file. So if you're working with RCN, the way that they operate and the way that Kiavi operates is that the processor is prepping the file along the way until it's completed with the valuation and all of the necessary documents are collected. Then it goes to the underwriter for them to review. And that is the processing period, is once the underwriter gets the file and starts doing ripping it up for conditions. So our question is, how soon will an underwriter be able to look at a file that we submit? So if they say, well, we need to have the appraisal done and we need to have all the documents collected before an underwriter takes a look at it, that is normal, but it can set us up for, okay, well, we need to do a better job of pre-processing, seeing where common mistakes are going to be, where signatures are lacking, where dates are lacking, where there's a mismatch in title, there's a mismatch in the name on the purchase contract versus the name of the company. Those things we need to get ahead of, because those are going to be ripped up later on, and we won't know that for a couple of days, 3-4 days into it. And if we can present a more cleaner processing, then someone that our borrowers are going to have a great experience of, yeah, I just sent my docs in. They had a couple of things immediately for me to take care of. The rest of it, we just got to the finish line. I mean, that's the ideal scenario. Okay, compliance. So when it comes to lenders, not every lender is going to allow you to work in certain states. So there are certain states that uh, aren't great for loan brokering because they do require an NMLS license. Those being Nevada, Minnesota, North Carolina, and Arizona. However, when you're working with RCN, you still can work in those states, except for Minnesota. You can work in those states, and you will be able to leverage their license and close on the deal. Kiabi is a lot more restrictive in that respect. Your name is going on the HUD. So, another one is California. A big one is California. So, if you're looking to do deals in California, you got to lean on a lender's license. Not you can't work with Kiabi in California, even though that would be super nice because a California flip is they're buying houses for 600, 700 grand, and then they're putting 150 or 200 into it and selling it for 1.3. Like that's where we want to be doing those deals too. Getting 1%, of those loan amounts is what this business is all about. I'm doing one right now in North Miami shores, so we're getting onto that. So compliance wise, if you're not a licensed MLO, there may be a restriction on states with certain lenders. But if we work with the lenders that are in our network, we lean on their license and we can still get those closed. Other compliance basics. I'm going to show you guys how I have things set up. And this may be how you want to set your business up. It may not be. But everything that I do is based out of Google Drive. So when you go and get your email address, that's a real one. It's not an at Gmail. You're going to go get a real email address. It's going to be at Jones Funding or at whatever it may be. You're going to get a Google Workspace that's going to run you, 12 or 15 bucks a month for your single email address and domain name. You go to Squarespace, you go to Square, which is now tied with Google, so you can have a real website. But I have everything available on the cloud so that I can drag and drop into my emails. Also, we're talking about compliance. I want to have all of my files readily available and saved for any time someone comes back to work with me. I like using Drive so much, and I have a PC, so if you're an Apple user, it may be a little bit different, but I have Drive for desktop, which means that I can get access to my Drive folder, my shared Drive folder, my transactions, and still have the same clients. And now I can drag and drop from here, and I can adjust with the normal tools that I'm looking to work with um, on using a PC. Okay, so we need to have an area where we're saving our files, and you want to document everything. Every email that comes back with a condition, you want to print a PDF and then submit alongside the condition that you're correcting. So if it's something where the borrower needs to provide a letter of explanation for this problem. All right. They shoot you an email back, you print a PDF that email, and then you supply with the supporting document of the letter of explanation. If they are saying you need an update to the purchase agreement or an update to the operating agreement, then you need to have the borrower make their correction. Either that's through DocuSign, which you can support with evidenced a trailing history on DocuSign, and support with the email that they gave you. So everything's got to be double supported so that you can protect yourself with compliance. Those are the things that, and when you outsource the processing, it's not something you have to worry about because that's what the company is going to be able to do for you. And when you guys complete the broker challenge, you guys will be eligible to use my processor. So after today, you guys will be able to, if you have a deal, you'll be able to use my processor, and then we will process everything for you and source things appropriately for those conditions. Okay. So
So
that's
this could be
compliance.
top.
Harlan?
Could you use Drive for desktop? Is
Yeah,
that
Drive for desktop, then you download that and then tie it to your Google Drive. And that way you can manipulate the files and it should auto save when you're connected to Wi-Fi. And that is leading us into building a business. So I just talked about some of the simple steps that you can do to make sure that you have a legitimate appearance as a business and operate as a business. You should go get an LLC if you don't already have one, because you're going to want to close you want to get paid through the entity. You're not going to be able to get paid as a individual for these loans. Next, you're going to want to have a better email address that's not at Gmail. The worst thing that you can do is present yourself as a professional that's looking to move hundreds of thousands of dollars from one destination to another using an at Gmail, at Hotmail, at AOL, at Yahoo, whatever. You don't look professional that way. You're looking to interact with other third-party partners in insurance and title. Whether you like it or not, they're judging you based off of how you communicate with them. And it's important to have a legitimate email address. We talked about some tools that I use that I pay for subscriptions. You can do a lot of this manually and at low cost, but I do believe in a DocuSign subscription and a Google Workspace subscription that comes with you registering your domain and getting that real email address. Yesterday we talked about a CRM. I use Loan Hero. If you're going to use my processor to do any of your deals, it'll be migrated through Loan Hero's pipeline and get updates out to the borrower through text message and email, their stages of their file, and we'll also communicate with them through Loan Hero. But as far as free CRMs, HubSpot can do a lot for free. There are other free CRMs out there that you can use. What you're looking for is something that will house your contacts that you can email out of, give and create templates, and potentially do call or texting. Those aren't going to come, the calling and texting are not going to come for free, but that is what a CRM is used for. It's for keeping records of the people that you come in contact with and then contacting them. Other basic softwares, you can do a lot of this just through email. You can do a lot of this through email and through DocuSign and text messages. I do use Google Voice as a free phone number so that I have a separate business line for emails and texts. And then when I'm working at my computer and something comes in, I can have Google Voice up, copy any address, and plug it right into the browser that I'm using, and now I can quickly underwrite a deal rather than going from my phone and emailing it over to myself and trying to make all that happen. Having a Google Voice number makes that easy. But if you have any like, I know that Apple users, you can have your text messages from your iPhone come up on another Apple device, so that's a something that you won't need to use a Google Voice for. But if you're a PC guy, even with an Apple phone, then it makes it work for you. So as far as tools for the business, that's really all you need. The rest of it's going to be hustle and experience so that you know what you're looking for in a borrower and their paperwork. The time can be condensed in the learning curve when you hire out for a processor and you working with a mentor like myself to coach you along the way and show you what to look out for and help you grow and scale your business. But you guys got an email about that for the broker launch pad, and some of you guys are already taking advantage of that.
Gary, I didn't actually get one of those emails for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe you can send it to me or
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah.
yeah, no problem.
I'll put the link in there. That's fine. Either
I'll
one.
put the link in here.
Okay.
So just jumping into that, for 12 weeks of one-on-one, where we'll develop a plan for you to go out there and dominate your market for this if you're already in real estate or if you are looking to seriously take this on. We're going to develop a a plan for you. We'll start with a one-on-one call after you guys take the next step. Yeah, I put the link in here. And so Harlan had a good question earlier. Here's what this is. The broker launchpad is the 12-week one-on-one where we're going to pick a day each week. We're going to talk for 30, 45 minutes about your business. We'll set the goals for the next week. We'll have some assignments for you to do. We'll review any deals that you have in the pipeline. If you already have submitted a deal, then we'll talk about that active deal that my processor and you guys are working on, if that's the way that you're going with it. And everyone that is on the Launchpad program is going to be in the school group that's going to be called Loan Broker Elite. Okay, so everyone's going to be in there, where we'll also have group coaching calls to run over where everyone's at. I have to schedule our meeting today, trying to reschedule now. Okay, Deborah. Yeah, just shoot me an email and we'll get you on there. No big deal. So if you guys want to take a look at the website, you can go through that, but we're going to have when you guys are going through this, we're going to be at discounted for the processing service. So anyone that's in Loan Broker Mastermind and completed the broker boot camp this year, you can use my processor for $1,000. If you're charging 3,000 like I am for a deal, and you put $1,000 up front for it to be processed for you, you can have as limited hours or as many hours as you want into it, but you can really start to systemize your business that way when you invest in it. When you guys are working with me one-on-one and you're in Elite, then that cost is cut down to $650. So imagine being able to bank $2,300 on a deal that you had maybe a half hour's worth of a conversation in with the borrower, and then my processor takes everything over and we get it submitted and closed for you. So that's the advantage of also going through the one-on-one, because during our one-on-one sessions, I'm going to make sure that you know what you're looking at, so that before you put up that $650, you have a higher than likelihood of closing and getting paid it and compensated. So that is the shtick there. So if you guys have any questions about anything that we've covered so far this week, let's have a wrap up of that. And if you guys have any questions about what it looks like to move on to the next step, this is an opportunity for you to ask that. I'm sure other people in here have similar questions, so I'm happy to address that for you. Yes, you can, Lisa. You can. You can work with my processor because you're completing the boot camp. So it is how much is the broker launchpad and being in the elite school group, that it's $2,500 for a single pay, $1,497 for a two pay. When you guys pay in full, then we're going to put you in the queue to make sure that you qualify for the business funding as well. We can go ahead and get you guys set up and get you credit card stacking, so you can invest in either your current business or this business, building it out. If you see yourself going heavy on marketing, you want to go and do ad spend, don't want to waste any time and start getting leads in immediately, you can go forward with that. If you want to go and buy a property, if you want to go fix and flip a property, we want to help you get access to capital. So we'll see if you, for those that pay in full, then we'll get you we'll see if you qualify for the business funding, and then we can get you hooked up with $50,000 to $75,000 worth of working capital just from jump. So we'll talk about that on our one-on-one if you guys want to take the next step. Okay, Carol says, I missed the beginning of the call. When will the replay be available? All of the replays of this week, I'm going to put into Mastermind in the mini broker, in the mini course section. It'll all be available on Monday. I just want to make sure that you guys do feel like you have exclusivity to this information than anyone else in Mastermind, because you guys spent the time each day this week, being able to focus in with intent on this business. So can you broker your own deals? Here is the answer to that question. You're not going to pay yourself for getting the loan. If you do create that wholesale relationship with RCN or Kiavi or whatever, then it would just be, you can do a loan through the wholesale channel. You're just not going to charge any origination. And you'll know all of the paperwork. Is that the answer to your question, Carol? Or are you saying, if you're a wholesaler, can you double dip? Well, if we know that it's a wholesale deal and you're the wholesaler, then you're going to submit it through me. I'm going to be the entity that closes, and then I'll pay you your origination fee when I get paid, so that you can double dip, but the lender won't know that you're double dipping. Because technically, especially with Kiavi, they have a non-arm's length transaction rule where you can't get paid a broker fee for the funding and a wholesale fee. Same thing with a real estate agent. You can't be the real estate agent on the deal that you also charge an origination for the loan. So if you wanted to do that, then we would process it through Gershom, my company. We get paid and then we pay you. Okay. Well, you guys are all here to hang out. I don't have anything else planned for the remainder here. I wanted to give you guys Q&A. We have 24 minutes left in the boot camp. So this is where we can talk about anything related to real estate. We can talk about wholesaling. We can talk about, do you cover running credit? Okay, sure. Let's do that. And then Grace says, can you go over the mechanics of a bridge loan? For sure. So let's do both through the Kiavi portal. So when we have a borrower that is looking for funds on a fix and flip deal, then that is also a bridge loan. What we're looking for in a bridge loan is we are looking for an opportunity where the borrower is going to add value to the property. So they're going to have some sort of physical repair that needs to be done. Or a bridge loan could be just a bridge only, like where it's purchase only, no rehab, but there's typically a 30 to 35% down payment associated with that. So let's do 344 Bridge Street. That's one that's for sale up the around the corner from my house. So right on this screen, we're estimating the FICO score, and I showed you guys the responses form. So when you guys send out that Google form, they fill it out, then you get the responses sheet back, and you're going down the list of questions. Then this is where you would plug everything in. So let's say that house is worth $299 right now, because that's what they're listing it for. And there was a house around the corner that sold for $425, so that's what I would use as the comp. When they are how much work they're going to do, let's say it needs a moderate rehab, like $40,000 worth of work. So we know that they're adding value, and they can redo the kitchen, redo the bathroom, and update the interior for 40 grand. Their purchase advance max, based off of their credit band, is 269 100. If you guys need me to blow it up, go ahead and put it in the chat that I need to zoom in. But 269 100 is equivalent to 90. Zoom in, please. Okay. All right, so over on the right-hand side, Kiavi will list out what their max is based off of the credit band. So this is at 90% loan to purchase, okay? The max loan to ARV, remember we talked about loan to ARV, what they're allowing here is 72, what this is currently is at 73%, which means that we can increase this rehab budget potentially to like 48,000, 50,000. Okay, less than 50,000, so 49,500. And will be under the 75% loan to ARV guideline. Remember, we talked about the loan to cost and loan to ARV. This is where it comes into play, and it's based off of their credit band. What you'll see is when we go to the 700, then we're going to drop down to an 85% loan to ARV. 75%. Oh, wow. So in Pennsylvania, so this is a live update to the guidelines that I'm seeing right here. So in Pennsylvania, for this deal, the algorithm says if they have less than a 719 qualifying credit score on Equifax or TransUnion, then it's going to be underwritten based off of a 65% loan to ARV. So let's back this down to 40,000, and then we'll be able to add that back up here. And maybe we can still get close to 85%. All right, so this is going to be 80% loan to purchase with a max of 65% loan to ARV. I imagine that we could back this rehab budget down a little bit more or play around the calculator to get it to a 425 after repair value, but I'm pretty confident in the after repair value. It's the rehab number that we would be throwing up in the air. Regardless of that, the next place that we're putting in is we got to put our broker fee. If we want to make $3,000 or close to it, then we're going to be at 1.25%. 1.15%. There we go. We'll click choose. Answer a few questions. Confirm the property. From the closing date. Yes, I'm going to be the broker. Okay, so this is the section that they just added as far as running credit. So you will create the guarantor on the front end, and the first name and last name will come up here. And then you'll need to grab their birth date and their primary residence. And then you click off on this and then hit next, and it'll do a soft credit check. Okay. So I think we just killed the two birds with one stone. With Kiavi, you will just know a pass fail and then the score band. You won't know what the actual scores are. You'll only be able to do this as a TPO partner. So if we want to work together on these deals and you're using the processing service, then we'll run the credit for you. But when we're in the RCN folder, we'll create a loan request based off of the borrowers. And then here's one that I got active right now. We'll go over to the documents section. And after you complete the application and you submit it to your account rep, they will run the soft credit check, and then you'll get the report available over on this side. That is if you're just a broker. If you're a TPO, then you do a little bit more for this. So Lisa and any other mortgage professionals in here might have a little bit more experience, but this is all a soft credit check. But this borrower, 766, 759, 729, honoring the 759 credit score. Okay. So that is the mechanics of a bridge loan and getting credit done. Based off of that, you think we're good as far as that's concerned, or do you have any questions about bridge loans, credit, things like that? No, thank you, Grace. Looking forward to working with you on the next step. Lisa, go ahead.
So I got a question for you, Gary.
Yeah.
It seems to me that you live somewhere in the Midwest, like maybe Pennsylvania. No?
I wouldn't say that Pennsylvania is the Midwest, but yeah.
Well, I know. Well, I'm originally from Chicago, so that
Okay.
everybody out there is kind of the Midwest.
Okay.
But your LLC is in Seattle, Washington. So
You're getting
why the
emails.
difference?
You're getting emails from ConvertKit, and that they're using a Seattle address
Oh,
on
okay.
there, but I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay. All right.
Grace grew up in Downers Grove, Lisa.
Downers Grove, yeah, that's a suburb of Chicago.
Nice. So as far as structure, I think Carol even asked about this too. As far as your entity is concerned, you can be in whatever state. Wherever you're licensed, if you're licensed in certain states, then you can close as normal with your NMLS number. If you are looking to close in states where you're not licensed, then the LLC helps, especially when it's business purpose.
Okay.
All right, guys. So any questions about Broker Launchpad? If you guys need any more information about that. I'm excited to work with you guys because the goal here is not to see. Here's the thing: I got into loan brokering, and I learned a lot of lessons on my own. So I took a $97 course that was great. It had a lot of information on it, but ultimately I needed to go and work with somebody to get some hands-on experience in the business, uh, and see how it's run and get that mentorship to be able to go and branch off on my own. But the way that I went about it was I went and worked for a brokerage. I was promoting their brand. I would put their website all over my own social media. I would go and comment and post their backlinks to go back to their website, doing all of the marketing for them. And once I would get a deal, then I would talk to the borrower. We would go through the conversation. I'd collect all the documents. I'd process my own deal, work with the third party partners. The we need to do a website too, right? You should if you're promoting yourself online. If you're just doing it one to one, you might be able to get away with it just without it. But you can definitely have a real email address. Buy a domain. It's worth it. So I would be doing 100% of the deal, and then the commission split with me and the brokerage was 60-40 in their direction. So really, what were they doing? What kind of value were they adding to this at all? It's not like anyone knew their brand to begin with. It wasn't like they were a major brokerage. We're still brokering them. We're not in control of as much when we aren't the super brokers. So and I'm commission only. So if I decided to pay for ads, then I'd be out the cost for the ads, and then I'd then be out the 50-60% of the commission split with the brokerage. That doesn't make sense. So my goal, I'm getting there, Lisa. There's no commission split. There's no commission split because I don't want to build a brokerage. I want to empower people to do what I did and go out on their own and be able to either process the loan and be able to do the few deals that they're doing on their own, or be able to leverage me and my team to be able to come through and close for them, and have the education of being able to review the deal up front. See, I don't want to create another brokerage where you guys are promoting the Gershon Flip and rental loans brand. No, like go and promote your own brand. Go and promote yourself. Be the person that is, I'm Hard Money Gary. Like, people know me. They don't even know this. They don't even know Gershon Flipping Rollins until we go to close. But they know Hard Money Gary. I promote myself out there on social media. People reach out to me to come and work with me because of my TikTok lives, Instagram, Facebook, doing the cold networking and things like that. They're working with Gary Brown on that perspective. So really, the brand name doesn't mean anything. But I don't want to build it. So I don't want to build another brokerage. I want to empower you guys to go and do this on your own, but with the same level of one-on-one mentorship and guidance that you would get if you had a manager and you went to go work for somebody, right? That's the only way that's the only way you're going to learn. So you still have to learn from somebody that's done it before. You still have to learn from somebody that's going to be able to provide you with guidance on how to navigate a deal. And the other thing that is going to help you scale is by leveraging the the processing service, because that is where the bulk of the time is going to be spent in any one deal, is passing documents back and forth. It's going to be making sure that I's are dotted, T's are crossed, connecting with third parties and things like that. All of that is a part of the job. And if you love it, then you love it. If you're a wholesaler, you're already doing half of it. If you're a loan officer, you're already doing most of that stuff. But there's some wrinkles with learning the lender's processes and anticipating things where you can shorten the time frame. So if you're just going to be in mastermind, that's fine. I want you to be in there for a lifetime. I want you to participate in the conversation. I want you to really, make sure the law of reciprocity is that you're in here to learn something so that you can share that, and we can form a real community in the mastermind. If you're going through the broker launchpad and get into elite, then you'll have access to the processors as well. It's going to be $1,000 per deal in the mastermind, and it's going to be $650 for per deal processing in when you're in the elite. So that's going to be the main difference. Grace, we're going to meet. So the one-on-one calls are going to be 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We're going to be adding. This is going to be a cycle, guys. We're going to add more people to the mastermind, and those that want to get into elite are going to get into elite. So there is going to be a cycle. Expect that there's going to be additions into elite. Cycling in and out. So right now, I have availability to do up to an hour with you guys. If it's just the if it's just the 6 people that we have in here, I can put 6 hours of time together to talk with you guys each week one-on-one. And then, with our monthly or weekly group coaching calls together, we're going to cover more stuff. So we can do that. But as more people come into it, there's going to be that 12-week cycle, and it may shrink to a half hour, 45 minutes. So the next cohort is this Monday. It lasts 12 weeks. Exactly. This is the cohort. It's starting 12 weeks. We're going to work together. And then, over the course of time, we're going to run an April boot camp. We're going to run a May boot camp, and so on and so forth.
So Gary, the loan broker mastermind, which we're a part of right now, you said if we work with you, it's 1,000 per
That's
deal?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1,000. And then 650. And obviously the elite is a little bit more one-on-one help and more more getting to you personally, I guess.
Exactly. Well,
yeah.
yes, you're going to get access to me, and you're going to have a better understanding of your file and have a more feeling of certainty when you're bringing it to close, because we're going to talk about your active pipeline over the course of the first 12 weeks, so you can see what I see in it. And then obviously, this isn't something where you lose my phone number. Like, after the 12 weeks, I still want to help you build out your business. So we'll get the link back in here for you guys that want to take advantage of it. I can tell you right now that we're not going to run the boot camp like this the same. we're going to do what we're going to do as the cycle on the next go around is we're going to push people into mastermind. We're going to run ads. We're going to push people into mastermind. And they're going to be paying for a year's worth of the mastermind school group up front, or they're going to be doing the $47 a month and then they come into the boot camp. So you guys are getting, you guys are getting access to this right now at a discount. And I imagine that we'll be moving up the broker launchpad pricing, probably not for the next cohort, but when this is shown to be helping people and they're closing deals with it, then we're going to be moving it up. I mean, here's the deal, guys. Like, I like to charge $3,000 a deal. So we price this so whether you did the one pay or the two pay, your first deal is going to pay for it. And then, moving forward, it's gravy on top. And you can use this as, all right, what's the cash flow of the deal? Can I afford to bring Gary's team in on here? Or do I want to close it myself? That's where, the elite group is going to come into play. We got 5 minutes left. If I'm just rapping about this, we can rap about this, but I can talk about anything else too. Yeah, of course you can, Gracie. If you want to be hard money Gracie, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm good friends on TikTok with Hard Money Guy. Hard Money Drew is a guy who runs a fund down in Florida. I've closed a couple of deals with him. There's Hard Money Michael on Instagram who used to be with NLF. There's a bunch of people, but I'm the only Hard Money Gary, and I trademarked this one, so no one's taking it from me. Also, yeah, that's also part of it too. If you guys want to start to build out your social media, um, yeah, I built my following from 0 to 30,000 being consistent and talking about things that brought value to the other users on the platform. So if you want to start generating free leads and referral business and people, I'll tell you this, the difference between ads and organic or social is night and day. Ads is primarily a price conversation, which as brokers we're not going to be great at, because in this broker space we can't be racing to the bottom. We have to be providing a concierge experience. We have to be bringing our expertise to make sure that they're going to be successful on their deal, and that means more to the clients that we want to work with and develop with the BRRRR strategy than just some flipper that's like, yeah, I need 100% funding at 9%. And if you can't meet that, then I'll go use my private guy. Okay, well, why'd you fill out the form? Why are we on this call? If you have something great, I always just shop around. Okay, well, something must have pissed you off about who you worked with before, or else you wouldn't be taking a look elsewhere. Oh no, we don't want to be in that conversation. So, like I said, the one-on-ones we're going to be talking about what your specific advantages are and what you bring as an expert to the marketplace, whether you're a fix and flipper or a developer already, you're a wholesaler, you're a mortgage broker, you're a real estate agent, you're doing personal loans for people. Whichever that is, we're going to talk about your angle and how to leverage all of that and talk about the people that you work with. My elevator pitch right now, when I'm going to networking events or I'm at synagogue or just anyone's asking, well, what do you do? I say, my clients are business owners that buy real estate and they call me when they need funding. Oh, well, that was cool. How do you do that? I market myself on social media and people reach out to me all over the country, and I live a pretty nice lifestyle. The conversation flows from there, but figure out your elevator pitch, what makes you unique, and who your client avatar is, and start talking to that. Is You guys can unmute yourselves on this one, but or put it in the chat. Like, are you guys afraid of being on camera? Because this is something where we need to be in 2025, soon to be 2026 before you know it. Oh, you're crazy. Going on camera right now. Let's go. If you're not afraid to be on camera, then social is going to be good for you. Carol's not afraid. Let's go. All right, Anthony's coming back in for the end here. Hey, Anthony, we're just about wrapping up here. So I appreciate everyone that came through this week. I'm looking forward to working with the few people that already decided to move forward into the Launchpad and the Elite program. And again, I'm reachable by email. You're all in the school now, so participate in the school. It helps when you get to level 2. You know, you're getting access to the basics course and the DSCR loan bootcamp. The recordings from this week will all be in the loan broker mini course. I'll upload those on Monday, no later than Monday night. And so we can review everything that we talked about this week. And that's going to be the foundation for any new people coming into Mastermind are going to go and view that first until we have more boot camps, and then we'll see which versions are the best, and we'll keep those in there. But I appreciate every single one of you that you were in here this week, and looking forward to working with you on the next step. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Gary.
See ya.